this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing a project recipe to you today that's from a collection from a while back called Vitamin C. It's a pretty quick and easy one, so hopefully this will be one that anybody can do, even if you are just a beginner. And yeah, let's check out my workspace and get started. Alright, so here is my workspace for the Vitamin C project recipe, and what I have ready to go here are two sheets that are going to be my base pages. These sheets actually did not come from Vitamin C, they came from the Sun-Kissed pack, if you recall that one from a while back. But the colors work well with these because I've got peach on the back of this one and green, and it goes well with this salmon color with the flowers. So I decided to go ahead and use these as our base pages for today. Then these two papers right here are from Vitamin C. You can see this has a kind of a sea plant shell kind of print. This one just has some green, kind of a geometric shape and spatter pattern, and then this one has a flower on the back. So we're going to use these two as our pieces we're going to cut today. So let me go ahead and move my base sheets out of the way for a moment. You can see from looking at the project recipe that we have here that they've used the seashells decorative border punch across both pages here, and yes, you can see I have that here. We can certainly use that, but I also wanted to mention that this project recipe, as I've said many times, project recipes can be used with any collection, and you could use this with the Friendly Fish punch, you could use it with the Monstera Leaves punch, you could even use it with the Birthday Balloons and Stars punch that we just had come out recently with the birthday collection. So any of that would be super fun, and this would be darling, I think, done with this project recipe and the bright colors of this collection, the birthday collection. I may do that up and show you just as a sample because I think it's super cute. I mean, it sounds super cute to me. So I'm just going to move these punches over here for a second, and we're going to get started with our cutting guide. You can see it calls for 2 tone-on-tone papers, which are what we have here. I've got green on green, and I've got a very neutral palette here, so I'm not worried about that one. That one's going to work really nicely too. We're going to punch a border from each one of our papers, and then we're going to get mats, and we're going to punch a border from each of these. So this is going to be fun. Let me grab my trimmer here real quick. And this really shouldn't take very long, I don't think, either. So this might be a quick go-to layout for you if you're looking for something fast. So first we're going to cut an L, a 1.5 inch L from our paper, and I'm going to do that by setting a blocker clip, and that's going to help me to make sure that I don't go too far. And I want to stop down here at, since this is a 12-inch sheet of paper, I want to stop at 10.5 inches, which means I'm going to place my clip at 11.5 inches. That way my blade will stop, and I can make sure and not go too far. So I'm going to cut 1.5 inches, and I'm going to measure it on the left-hand side, which is not something I do very often because you always hear me preaching about how I need to keep my paper level with the shoulder. But this time I'm going to do that. So 1.5 down. Then we're going to just turn it and do 1.5 again. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to line up this line on the side of my trimmer. Let me just show you. See this white line right here? I'm lining that up at the 1.5 mark, which is this line on my grid. And then that way I will start cutting where my other cut left off. Now I don't need this here. I need to be able to cut all the way. So there we go.
Oh, that's handy.
It is handy. And I didn't quite get all the way, so I'm just gonna get that. There we go. Okay, so there's one of our frames. And then I'm going to set this aside for just a second. We're going to do the other frame from our seascape. And I want this frame to go the opposite direction. So I'm going to go this direction.
Okay, that's a pretty paper.
Thank you. There we go. It's pretty, isn't it, Heidi?
Yep. All those, oh golly. I had the name of what they were, and then it left my head. These things.
$10.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My brain decided to take a vacation for a minute.
That's all right. No worries.
Love you.
I love you too. Taking the clip off so I can come all the way down, and now I've got my L to go the other direction. All right, now I'm going to just set my trimmer to the side for just a second while I grab my punch that we're going to use. And since we have seashells in this design, I feel like we probably should do the seashells, although I would love to try doing a different punch, but I think for now, because I'm using these paper choices, we're going to stick with the seashells. Okay, and I'm going to, because my green paper is a bit directional, and this is the way it's going to be on the page, I want to make sure my punch is going the same direction. So I'm going to go ahead and use my paper in a horizontal, or going in the horizontal direction. We're just going to go through and punch up some of these seashells. I think we'll probably end up flipping this over and using the other side, but just in case, the pattern will be going in the right direction for what we're looking for. All right, so there's our seashells from the green paper. Let's do our seashells from this paper, and this will likely flip over to the other side as well. But we'll see. This is one of those type of designs where you can play with it and flip your paper different directions without being too worried about it. Just always nice. All right, so there's our seashells. And get rid of our punch confetti. Okay, now we're going to bring our trimmer back on, and we're going to go ahead and cut these mats. So we need two that are 6.5 by 4.25. So this one, the first one we're going to do is the 6.5. So we're going to come out here to 6.5. We're going to cut at 6.5. Then we're going to turn it and we're going to cut 2 at 4.25. Why did I say 6.5? That says 6.25. Wow. Okay then. I'm just not awake today apparently. So we only need 6.25 for that. I'll try to make a note so that you don't cut that wrong. As I'm going through there. Okay, so 6.25, and we're turning it and we're cutting 2 at 4.25. You know, I think part of it is that we do cut at 6.5 and 4.5. And it just didn't occur to me that that might not be quite right. All right, and then this piece, the remaining piece of our green, we're going to cut at 3.5 by 4.25. So let's see. Thankfully, we have plenty of paper. So let me just double check because I don't trust myself now today. 3.5, and then we'll cut it this way at 4.25 twice. So 3.5 and 4.25. And again at 4.25. Now we're going to cut our other piece of paper the same way, of course, without making the error that I did. So we're going to go up here to 6.25. Then we're going to turn it and cut it 4.25 twice. There we go. So those mats are good. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to do 3.5. And then turn it and cut 2 at 4.25 each. There we go. Okay, so these are our extra pieces. Let me just move them a little farther away so I don't grab the wrong piece. We are ready to assemble our pages. Okay, so put that up right up there so that you can see it as we put these pages together. Let me grab my base pages. I think I'm going to go with the bright color because we've got flamingos on the back over here, which we're not going to see much of, but I like this bright salmon-y color and the flowers that are on it. So these are going to be our two layouts are going to go like this, and then this one is going to come over here. We can either flip it this way or we can flip it this way. Actually, I think looks better like this. I'll have to see. And we've got the dark green, or we can flip it and do a lighter green. which actually might be nice. Flip that around. And then these are going to go where we're going to go. This one's gonna go here. This one's gonna go here. This one's gonna go. Can't see it. Ah, okay. Here and here. Or we could flip it over and do the peach. And then these will go over here. And these will go over here, like so. Okay, so let's, I almost feel like I need to flip this over so that we have some of that color on this side. Color on that side. Maybe we'll flip this over. These two. Not that one. These two. No. Why doesn't that work? Maybe we go like this. Just so we get a little bit of alternate color. I'll play with it just a little. This is what I meant about you can kind of flip it over however you want to get that balance in the color that you are looking for. And you can see in the sample up here that they flipped over these two mats and these two mats so that they had the lighter blue that's on the back of this instead of the darker one. So I think I'm going to go with this. All right, let's get this adhered. Okay, when I put this second border strip on, I'm going to line up my pages right next to each other so that I can make sure that I'm putting this strip where it's going to meet up with the other one. See, like that. So that they meet perfectly right here. And then that way I can keep everything else in line with where it needs to go. And you'll notice I'm also just putting repositionable adhesive on my mats that I'm putting on here. Just in case I want to flip them over and use the other side when I have the photos that I want to put on this page, because I really don't know yet which ones I'm going to want to use. Okay, so this is the basic, the basic layout, and then we need to add some embellishments. And at this point, most of my embellishments are all kind of mixed up. So it's hard for me to remember which layouts these are from. But I do like this one, and I feel like it kind of picks up the same tones that are in this. And if we put this one up here in this corner for summertime, and then we could just do a cluster somewhere in here, which would be a little bit tricky to do a cluster right in there because these photos are really rather close. But if we used, like they have in the sample, they've used this one right here as a journal box. So they've embellished on that piece, and we could certainly do that. Could certainly do that. So I've got these other stickers here, which are from a different collection. It's the one that had all the coconut fun drinks. If you remember which collection that is, would you put a note in the comments for me? I am failing to remember which one that pertains to. But I am going to include, a couple of other photos that are from this same, or not photos, stickers that are from this same collection. So it would be helpful if we could remember which one it is, right? So I'm just going to kind of make a cute little, hopefully cute, little cluster to bring in some of the colors and allow our eye to move a little bit more. Just use this little tiny drink umbrella also. Although I don't know exactly what he has to do with anything, but he's cute. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my foam squares. We're gonna pop these up. I'm gonna pop these up for a couple of reasons. One is mainly so that whatever photo goes up here will be able to slide underneath more easily, and same thing with up here. If I pop this up, then then there's more room under there, so it's easier for me to go back and add a picture. And this guy, I think we're just gonna put kind of right here to bring in a little bit more of that green and kind of tie things together. It's funny how you have extra little pieces from different things. Oh, look at that. There's a sun right there. We could do summertime, or we could just do sun. Curious. No, I think we'll do summertime. And that will go up here without the foams, or without the sticky guards, because those I only have two foam squares right here where my fingers are, so that makes it so I can slide a photo underneath there and it will be super easy to get that in place. Just stick that one down. And then this one I'm going to put one of my big foam squares up here on the sun. That's just going to keep that lifted off the page so that it maintains the same depth that the other ones do. And going to just add a few of these smaller ones in on some of the leaves so they stay up in the air. And I need one right here. Let's see. So sometimes trying to fit these on where they are not going to show can be a little bit tricky. That works pretty well. Okay, so then we can put this guy. I'm going to uncover all of the foam squares except for the one on the sun, because I want to be able to make sure most of it stays down, but I want to be able to slide a photo behind the sun. And I'm going to move this over just a little so that I have a little bit of room. I could do more journaling down here, or I could just do journaling here and put a photo here. Lots of different options for that. Nice. So you can see how your embellishments really make a difference. Before we put the embellishments on, this was a pretty plain looking layout, but the embellishments really add to it, and then once you have your photos on there, it'll even look nicer. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this was a good introduction to a multi-step project recipe. I think this one is a good project recipe for someone who is a beginner, to learn to branch out just a little bit and make a few more cuts and punches and create something beautiful. Again, thanks for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Take care.